Well, hey everyone, it's Scott again with OnlineIncomeBlogger.com, and this is the next video in this series of how to create a Kindle book all the way from scratch. And this is the exact process that I used to create over 12 books right now currently, and making over $3,000 a month. And this is the exact process. So I want you to know that anyone can do this, okay? And I'm showing you how to do it even if you don't want to write a book or if you don't know how to write a book. All right, so here's what we're going to do today. We're going to talk about creating the actual formatting of the book, because there's some tricks that you can use to actually make the book appear to be a little bit longer and actually easier to read. All right, so I'm going to give you all of those things. Now, I'm working in Pages, all right, on the Mac. If you're working in a Word doc, publishing software, whatever, Windows, it's going to be pretty similar. But I will have a video for a Windows version of using Word or whatever, in the notes here of this video in the blog somewhere. All right, so you'll be able to get a hold of that if you have that, if you have a Windows machine. All right, so anyway, I'm going to be doing it on this. It's going to be pretty much the same process. All right, just the tools might be in a different area. All right, so we're looking at the table of contents. Now, that's one thing I will say is it's very, very important to have a table of contents. If you don't have a table of contents, it's going to appear as the book isn't professional, and it's going to make people upset. You want people to be able to go in and navigate to exactly where they want to go. But I'm going to show you how to do this. This was kind of difficult to figure out. I figured it out. It's real simple. It's kind of like a website. Like if you click on one of these, it's going to take you right to that spot in the book. It makes it really easy to do. So it's kind of like a web page in a sense. All right. So to get started, though, let me just kind of go through the key things that I think you ought to be paying attention to. All right, now number one, pictures. It can actually make the book look a little bit more professional and make it look a little more expensive if you added some pictures to it. I like to add one or two at least, and if not, you don't have to, but it's just something that I recommend. One thing, let me just say though, they used to make it where you would put your cover image right in the beginning of the book. Now what they're doing is Amazon is actually taking your cover that you upload and they're inserting it in here for you, so you don't have to do that. So don't put the image in here or else it'll appear twice. As of right now, that's how they're doing it. I would definitely recommend putting in some type of disclaimer. This book is in the health and fitness, so I like to put that in there. You could have your copyright information in here. This is more or less just to protect me, by someone getting it and then saying, I sprained my ankle or something, and because of your book or whatever. I just want to, you just want to let people know up front that this is just my opinion and my advice. It doesn't mean that it's going to work, and you don't hold any responsibility for if anything happens. Okay, so you just want to do that, and obviously I'm not an attorney, I'm not a lawyer, so you might want to get that, get some advice from a legal advisor. All right, so anyway, so table of contents, we talked about that for a minute. I'm going to show you that in a second, but let's just go over this real quick. All right, this is just an image that I inserted. Let's do this now. Let's delete that image, all right, and then let's just go ahead and insert an image. So all you would do is just go insert, and then you would go choose, find the image on your computer, mine's right there, and click insert. And then boom, there's your image. Now it's a little bit different than the other one. The other one I had a border around it and stuff. That's the other thing. Do not add borders or anything that's within your software program. Okay, just let it go as is, because if you do, sometimes Kindle, it'll act funny. It won't look right. The formatting will be off, and then you'll get bad reviews because people will say it looks like crap. So you don't want to do that. So just put the image in or do any editing outside of here, and then that's what I did. I took an image, I added a border, and then I imported it into here. I did it in Photoshop. You can do it in any editing software. Just make sure that your picture is 600 wide, or no more than that, or else it'll scale it down for you. It's just 600 wide is usually what I go by. And then the height, I usually try to keep it around 300-400 or less. All right, and horizontals work nice too because it fills up the full page. But anyway, all right, so that's kind of how you do that. All right, so you just put it in there. The one thing I do want to note though is if you click on that, watch what happens over here in the formatting. If you go over here to object placement, you want it to be in line, okay, moves with text. Again, if you're working in Word, it's going to be different. So, I'm not sure what it looks like in Word, but in Pages, this is what it looks like. You want to make sure that the picture is going to move with the text. And what that means is the text isn't going to wrap around the image. We don't want that. That just screws up formatting. So keep it simple. I can't stress that enough. Simple is better, all right? So that's that, okay? Just click on that image, and then you can, if you did it here, floating doesn't move with text, then the text will go around it and stuff. You don't want that. All right, so we want it to be in line with text. That's an image. Super simple. If you wanted another image right here, you know, just click where you want it, space down, go insert, choose, go find your image. I'm going to use the same one again and insert it. And then boom. It's going to, now see how it didn't go here? Because it dropped down to the other page, okay? And here it might look like it's got a lot of space here. In the Kindle, it may look like it fits fine. That's what I'm saying. Don't use page breaks unless you have to, and I'm going to show you page breaks in a minute too. The only time I use page breaks really is in the table of contents, and that's just so that's on its own page. Everything else you want to just kind of keep flowing like it's one big long letter. All right? So let's just get that out of there now. The other thing I want to talk about is your headings. Okay, your headings, you always want to highlight, okay, and you want to just go right here to where it says heading 1A or heading 1 is fine. I usually use 1A. You just want that to be bold, and you want it to be in a heading tag. All right, I usually use the heading 1A or just 1. It doesn't matter. Okay, so that's that. So just highlight that. This is just bolded. That's all I did was just made that bold. And the font that I'm using is Times. I usually like to use that. It works usually the best. They can pretty much play around with that inside their Kindle too, I believe, and their size. But what I do for size, though, is the text. I definitely go with a 16-point size, okay? That's what I go with. If you go smaller, you can, but again, when they first open it, it's going to be kind of like what you defaulted it to, I believe, and then from there, they can scale it up or down. This way here, it takes up a little bit more real estate and it's easier to read. Okay, the other thing is, if you notice here, is I broke these up, okay? And if you see the pattern here, see how I broke these up into chunks? See, it makes it easier to read. A lot of books, you know, paperback books, you'll see all of this kind of nested together. You won't see a lot of breaks in the paragraphs. Okay, like here, this is a very short paragraph, but I broke it because I wanted it to flow. Okay, so you want to break these up where it feels right. All right, it doesn't have to be, you know, like if you were in English and they said, well, if you're not talking about this specific thing anymore, you can move on to the next paragraph. You don't really have to use those rules. Just use it as, you know, like here, I'll just, you know, it's a program that you won't be so quick to abandon. I hope you're excited about what you're about to learn. I could have left that up there, but why not break it and make it less of a bigger chunk where it's harder for the eyes to follow. So that's how I do it. And it also gives you, like this here is 8,132 words, and I believe it's like 35 or 38 pages is what it equated to. When you can see here down on the bottom, it's 34 pages, but in Kindle, it might be 44 pages, okay? Because of the way that they format it, it's going to change, all right? So this is a good example for 8,000 words too. But that's basically real simple way to format is just make sure that your headlines are separate, definitely between that and in the start of your chapter. And then you want that to be in the H1 is what it is. It's the heading 1. And then you want bold things when you think that they need to be bolded. Just go there and go up here to where it says bold. And you can make this font size a little bit bigger if you wanted to. If I wanted to make that just a little bit bigger so it stood out, I can make that, let's see, 18 if I wanted to. But then it looks closer to the heading. That's why I made it smaller. So just go back and change it. That's a 14. I'm going to make it a 16. So I'm just going to type that in. And then, again, your font, at least mine, it's Times I'm using for my font, and then it's a 16. So that's really all there is to it. If you want to add bullet points, I don't like using bullet points because, again, it screws up with formatting. I just use these little stars, okay, to break things up and to kind of make it look neat. Or numbering things, you can do 1, and then do this as 2. You know, I don't like using the the bullet points because a lot of times it tends to screw up the formatting in Kindle, all right? So that's basically all you do there. So I'm going to do a quick example for the table of contents on a different, on like I'm starting from scratch, just so you can get the idea, okay? Because now watch, if I click on one of these, like how many miles is 10,000 steps, it goes automatically to that chapter, all right? And that's what we want to do next. So let me get this out of the way. So to get started, and again, I wanted to show you this too. This is exactly what came right here. All of these are the articles that were written from iWriter. Okay, so I just basically got them in a group here. There's 11 of them, and then I just double click on them. It opens up the Word doc, and then I copy and paste that into my document. All right, so here, real quick, we're going to do table of contents. All right, so all we have to do now is just open up a new document. So we're going to go File, and we're going to go New, and I'm going to say Choose. Okay, so now it gives me a new document. All right, first thing I'm going to do is put the intro in, which is my disclaimer. So I'm just going to copy and paste that. Obviously, if you don't have that, you got to write it. I like to make this here bigger, So I made that 24, but I didn't make it a head or a heading, you know, like a heading tag. I did not do it with heading 1. I did freeform. Okay, and then all of these here, this is in a 14, okay, and there's a reason for that. I don't want this to be as big, okay, as the rest of the stuff, so I usually go like 2 points down, all right? So now what I want to do is I want to go ahead and I want to put my table of contents in, but I don't want my table of contents here. I want to create it on its own page. So that's where I go insert, and then I go page break right here, and it forces it to go to another page. All right, it forces it down. There's like a little invisible line here that'll tell the reader to, you know, not show anything else up here until it gets to this page. All right, so now what I'm going to do is table of contents. So table of contents. All right, now this is important, so pay attention to this. Okay, so here I'm going to center that. I'm going to go right here. And then I'm going to make that bigger. I'm going to make that 24. We'll try that. That's fine. And I'm going to bold it. All right, now here's the thing. Leave it as is right now. That's your table of contents page, just for now, okay? Now what we want to do, though, is we want to make another page break. So insert, and I'm going to go page break again. Okay, now we can start adding our content, our first chapter, if you want to, all right? Now, here's my intro for chapter 1. I'm just going to copy and paste it. This is coming from iWriter, okay? Oops, I didn't copy it. Let me go back. I thought I did. Select it all. Let's copy it. Make sure we're there. And there we go. Okay, so now it's all in there. Now when it imports, it goes to 12 points for the font size. And then it's got regular and then times. Okay, I'm going to make this 16. Okay, well, it didn't do it because I didn't highlight it. Okay, so let's highlight it. It's good to see how you see me make mistakes and then fix it. So then go here and 16, and then there you go. You can see now we've got it bigger. Now this is the intro. We got to highlight that. Okay, this is the chapter heading. What are we going to do? We're going to go to the heading 1, and there it is, okay? Now, all of this stuff, the writer already did this kind of for me, but I always go through it. Like this one here is a little bit big. This is perfect, okay? This is a little bit big, so I'd go right here where it says drive, and I'd take 2 steps down. Now, you see how that added those for me? I'm going to go back and delete, and then back down 1 more. And what that does is it deletes it. It almost wants to act as it's going to add bullet points. You just want to make sure that that's not there. If I want to add another little asterisk there, I just go like that. All right? So that's basically all you do. Same thing here. Maybe we're going to go to this one. I'm going to go down. I'm going to go back and back down again. And the reason why I do that is just because it wants to act like it's adding a bullet point. Again, I want to add the asterisk. Okay? Same thing here. I would do this down here somewhere. Let's see where it would make sense. I'd go here. I'd go here. Back. And back down. And there you go. See, and I would continue to do that. Okay? So that's the intro. Okay? Now what I would do is I'd go down here and I would not do a page break. I would just go down, space it twice. Okay? And then I would go to my next page. And there's chapter 2 right there. So we're going to, again, select all. We're going to copy that. And we're going to go right in here. And remember, we are not going to do a page break. So I'm going to step it down twice. I'm going to hit paste. See, it automatically drops it down. Now what I have to do, though, okay, is I have to go and highlight all this. Let's see here. Where are we? Right here. Okay, so we're going to highlight all of this. We're going to go back up to the font, make sure it's times. It is. And then we're going to go here, and we're going to go 16, and that's exactly what we want. Okay, and then I would go through and I would do the same process here. I would go ahead and I would start to chunk this down. Like this one here is a little big. So again, I would do the same thing. Okay, let's see, maybe right here. Boom, boom, back up, down, add the asterisk. That's all the editing you're really going to have to do. Although you may want to read through it and see if there's any grammar errors. You know, that'd be a good idea. Like I said, at the end, you probably want to save this out and then send it off to Fiverr and have someone edit it for grammar. That'd be another thing. Okay, so that's kind of how you do that. Now, let's go ahead and here's the second chapter. So let's highlight that. And let's go to the heading 1 again. Okay, now we're ready to add these in. Now I would go through the whole book like that first. I would do all the chapters just like I just did. Then what I would do is I'd come back, okay, and I'd start from the top, and I'd go right in here. I'd highlight that. I'd go up to my table of contents, or actually, you know what I would do? I'd open up a new text doc. That's what I would do. Let me scroll, get this stuff out of my way. I'd go and I'd make a new one, and then I would just start copying the chapters in there. Okay, so I'd go, let's see, the next one would be here. This way, as I'm going down, I can be doing it all into one text doc and then copy and paste everything together. I'll show you what I mean. Go back and then go here. Then once I'm done, I'd have like 11 headings there. And then I would just copy these, okay, and then I would go back up to my table of contents right here, okay, and then I would paste them. Now, these are bolded because they are in the head tag. That's what we started as. So what I would do is I'd go here. It's in free form. I'd make sure of that, and then I would just unbold it, and I would make these probably like 14, okay, and I'd make them go together like that. Now that you have that done, the next part is very, very important, and this is something that you definitely have to get right, or Kindle will not recognize it as a table of contents, and your table of contents won't work. All right, so pay attention to this part right here. It's not that hard. It's just a couple of things that you need to remember. So just make sure that you highlight that, all of it, okay, and then go to bookmark, okay, and then add a bookmark. Now, it's going to say table of contents, and people would think, okay, that's good. I made a bookmark, and it says table of contents. Kindle is not going to recognize that as a table of contents. At least it doesn't right now. You have to make that a TOC, okay, bookmark. So just double click on it, and then just go capital T, capital O, capital C. And that's it. Okay, now it will recognize it. That's what it's going to look for. All right. Then what you're going to do is you definitely want to make sure that you create all your bookmarks first. All right. And what I mean by that is don't do the table of contents till the very end. All right. So the first thing you want to do is highlight, your first chapter, and then you want to go to your bookmarks and then go plus, and that's adding a bookmark to that. Then you want to go to your next chapter. Do the same thing. Making your commitment is this one here. Click on plus. Let's say that I'm just going to do another one just for fun here. Let's go to the bottom and let's just say chapter 3, and let's make that the same. We're going to make it in the heading 1, and then it's already highlighted. I'm going to make that a bookmark. All right, let me just copy that too so we can put that in. So here we go. So go down. Again, it's not the right size and stuff, so what we want to do is we want to make that, I believe it was 14, and it wasn't bold. I think it was just regular, and that looks right. Now what we want to do is we want to go ahead and highlight, okay, the actual chapter in the table of contents. Now what we're doing is we're actually creating a link, okay, that's going to point to that bookmark. So now we just highlight that, we go over to hyperlink, bookmark, and then go find your bookmark, which is the introduction. There it is. Go making your commitment, highlight that one. Go to enable as hyperlink, link to bookmark. We're going to go making your commitment, and so on. Chapter 3, we're going to go enable as hyperlink, link to bookmark, and then we're going to find the bookmark, chapter 3, and that is it. Okay, now if I click on make your commitment, watch what happens. It goes right to making your commitment. That's the chapter. If I go back up to here, let's go chapter 3. Chapter 3. Okay, so you can see it just bounces. Go to introduction, boom, introduction. Okay, that's how it's going to work. But you have to make sure that it says TOC as your bookmark, okay? And then you're just going to basically link them all together. So that's basically how you do it. Now, once you get that all done, okay, and you're somewhat happy with it, at least for the rough draft, and you want to send it off to Fiverr to have them edit it, you want to save this as a Word doc, okay? Unless Fiverr tells you that they want it differently, the Word doc is what you're going to want to send to Kindle as your finished product. So just go here to File, Export, and then you're going to go and you're going to find Word, and then you're going to basically export it as a Word doc. Now, if you were in Word, you don't have to worry about that. Just export it as a Word doc. That's what you're in, right? And then from there, you would hit next, and then it would save it out, okay? But the other thing that I did want to point out real quick before we move on is a couple things that you might want to add. And we'll talk about this in other videos, but again, I just want to get your formatting down. But at the very end of your book, okay, at the very end of your book, let's scroll down to the very end of my book here, okay? And you can see here, here's a bunch of those Q&As that I was telling you about in an earlier video. Great way to give more content and to fill up the book with more useful information. Question, and then answer. Question, and then answer. People love question and answers. How many days a week should I walk 10,000 steps? Answer. Most step walkers walk 6 days a week. You can walk less, of course. 7 days may not be ideal, as most people need a rest day to not wear themselves out. But this is completely your own decision, okay? Can I mix power walking and step walking? Yes, it's recommended, okay? So you see, it's a Q&A. People love them. So it's something that I would definitely suggest you do. And then just down here, this is just a list of the other books, okay? So once you get more than one book, you're going to want to promote your other books inside of this particular book. All right, now I'm getting a little more advanced here, but it's something that you want to think about. When you pick that book with, you know, the niche that you're going after, you might want to think a little bit down the line too and say, hey, can I create more books? All right, so here I'm linking to 4 other books that are related to this particular book. Okay, if you're interested in this one thing, you might be interested in the other. And then when you go and you start promoting this book and it starts getting downloads, people will be that much more likely to, you know, buy one of your other books. And that can be very, very powerful. And the other thing that I do is I say, quick favor, please take a minute to leave a review on Amazon letting me know if you have learned from this book. I always want to hear from my readers and know how your healthy lifestyle is going. Thanks and good luck. All right, so all that is a little call to action to say, hey, go leave me a review. Now, the other one thing that I'm going to mention, and we'll definitely do another video on this down the line, I haven't done it in this market yet, which I will soon, is in the very beginning, you may want to set up a website, which if you're watching this video and you don't know how to set up a website, I have a video series on that as well. You can set up a website, and then you can basically get them to give them your email address, and then you can point them over to, you know, like a free gift or something. And then this way here, you can get building a list through your Kindle book. Now again, that's a little more advanced. Let's not go there yet. What I want you to do is just get a book done, because even if you are, you know, you go through this process, and let's say you only sell a few books, you're going to learn so much from going through the process that every time you do it, you're going to get better at it. You're going to get better at market research. You're going to get better at formatting. You're going to get better at your covers. You're going to get better at headlines, all that stuff. So right now, think about this as just a learning, a learning time that you're going to go through, and you're going to just go through the process from, you know, A to Z and figure everything out as I'm showing you. Okay, and then you can always tweak. Like I said, let's say that you don't have any other books to promote right now. Well, let's say you know, a month from now, you get a book that you're, you write a book that you're going to be promoting. You can come in here because you're going to save this, so you can come in and edit it, and then you're going to go right here and you're going to add your book, and then you're going to go re-upload it to Kindle, and that's as simple as it is. All right, but again, we'll talk about that in other videos. This video is about you formatting your book, getting it exported, getting it ready to be uploaded to Kindle. All right, so that's it for this lesson. I hope you got a lot out of it. I hope you are ready to edit your book. If you haven't already done so as far as going through and writing it, but you can go through and you can edit if you've had someone else write it, and then this way here you can also have the book read better and also appear that it's longer, which is going to be worth more. The perceived value is going to be more. All right, so that's it. That's going to wrap up this lesson. If you're watching this and you haven't seen the other lessons, please go check them out. I actually show you step by step how we got to this point, and I'm also going to show you in future videos how you get the book published, how you promote the book, and how you start getting sales. All right, again, this is Scott with OnlineIncomeBlogger.com, and I'll talk to you soon.